Buddhism and Jainism in India. The founder of Buddhism is Gautama Siddhartha. He was born at Lumbini near Kapilavastu around 563 BCE. He was the son of a chief of the Shakya clan. His wife was the princess Yashodhara, and their son was Rahul. He saw an old man, a sick man, and a dead man all in one day, and he realized there's a lot of suffering in this world. But he also saw a sage and thought there was a way out, there was a way to end the suffering. He then left home at the age of 30 years and he wandered for 6 years with sufferings and hardships, like he purposely would not eat any food or drink any water. He then sat under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya and he meditated for 49 days. At the end of it, he got enlightened, and that is called nirvana or the enlightenment. After that, he came to be known as the Buddha or the enlightened one. He later preached. His first sermon was in Sarnath near Varanasi. He wandered for 40 years preaching Buddhism. He preached in the local language called Pali. Many followers became monks or bhikshus and they lived in monasteries. He died in 483 BCE in Kusinagar near eastern Uttar Pradesh. His teachings are in the Pitakas and in the Jataka tales. Buddhism was later split into two sects. One was Mahayana, or the greater vehicle, and they worshipped idols of Buddha and they believed that he was an incarnation of God. The Hinayana were the lesser vehicle and they believed he was a great teacher and they worshipped him through symbols like lotuses and they didn't make idols of him. The main teachings of Buddhism were four noble truths. 1. There is suffering in the world. 2. There is a cause for the suffering. 3. The cause is desire. And 4. Desire can be overcome by following the eightfold path or the Ashtanga Marga. These are right understanding, right purpose, right speech, right behavior, right means of livelihood, right effort, right awareness, and right meditation. Buddha advised his followers to follow the middle path. This means they didn't have to give up all their worldly wealth, and neither should they live in ultimate luxury. It should be somewhere in between. He preached equality of all humans. He rejected the caste system and rituals, and he did not discuss God at all. He said there were three jewels to find peace. One was himself, Buddha, the enlightened one. 2, Dhamma, or the sacred law, and Sangha, which is a community of enlightened people. He taught ahimsa or non-violence. Jainism was founded by Vardhamana Mahavira. He was born at Kundalavana near Vaishali in 540 BCE. He was brought up in luxury, but he left home at the age of 29. The next 12 years he meditated, living on minimum. He attained Kaivalya, also called perfect knowledge. And after that, he became called as Jina or the conqueror. So his disciples were called Jains. He claimed to be the 24th Tirthankara or the seeker of truth. He preached in the language called Prakrit, which was the language of the common people. He preached at Magadha, Kosala, and Videha. Jainism became popular in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Malwa, and South India, but it never went outside India. Mahavir died at the age of 72 years at Pavapuri near Rajgir, Bihar. His teachings are in the 12 Angas. Jainism was also split into two parts. One sect called themselves Shvetambaras. They wore white robes. The other sect were the Digambaras and they did not wear any clothes and they wanted to follow in Mahavir's path of austerity. The main teachings of Jainism were the person's position in life depended on karma, which were the deeds of the past life. Anyone could attain moksha or salvation. What was moksha? The freedom from the cycle of births and rebirths. He preached ahimsa just like Buddha. He did not discuss God and he rejected all rituals. He preached to adopt a Triratna or three jewels, which were right faith, right knowledge, and right action. The spread of Buddhism and Jainism. They spread as they rejected the rigidities of Brahmanism. They preached in the local language of the poor. They rejected the caste system because they said anyone could have taken moksha. The trading community gave large donations to spread the message. There were lots of religious buildings that were constructed at that time, including prayer halls like the chaityas, the viharas or the monasteries for the monks, the stupas. They were the monuments which contained the relics of Buddha. Monks and travelers spread Buddhism. It became a major religion in China, Japan, Korea, Tibet, and Southeast Asia. In India, there were three universities, Nalanda, Taxila, and Vikramshila, which were founded on Buddhism. Ashoka, the great Indian ruler, also became a Buddhist. The decline of Buddhism and Jainism, it started declining when it started becoming very rigid and ritualistic. The monks became materialistic and the sanghas got wealthy. The Buddhist monks adopted Sanskrit and they discontinued Pali. Hinduism became more popular as reforms were introduced, preaching devotion rather than rituals. And Hinduism accepted Buddha as an incarnation of Vishnu. And the rulers were mostly Hindus and they followed Hinduism. Let's compare Buddha with Mahavira. Gautam Buddha attained nirvana or enlightenment and he came to be called the Buddha or the enlightened one. Mahavir attained Kaivalya or perfect knowledge and came to be called as Jina the conqueror. Buddha preached in Pali while Mahavir preached in Prakrit. Buddha said there were three jewels, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Mahavir's three jewels were three Ratna, which were right faith, right knowledge and right action. Buddha said there were four noble truths, which were there was suffering in the world, there was a cause for the suffering, desire was a cause of the suffering, and through the Eightfold Path they could overcome desire. Then, the teachings of Buddha were in Jataka tales and in the three Pitakas, while the teachings of Mahavira are in the 12 Angas. Buddhism was split into Mahayana and Hinayana, while the Jains were split into Digambaras and Shvetambaras. Buddhism spread outside India, but Jainism did not spread outside India. It remained in India, especially in the western part, like Rajasthan, Gujarat. Buddhism spread even to Sri Lanka, to Southeast Asia, and to China.